Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier with the DRF Bets Race of the Day for Wednesday, March the 14th, race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. If you sign up for a new DRF Bets account right now, you'll access a $150 sign-up bonus. All you have to do is go to drf.com/join and type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field. Some nice older optional claimers going 1 mile on the turf at Gulfstream Park, and you can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order. Number 1, Kunko, Matt, achieved some fame as the first ever winner for the great young racehorse and sire Frankel, and he earned a Group 3 win in 2017.
Yeah, if you just want to look and kind of make the parallel of he's a group stakes winner overseas in Europe, now he's coming here and he's facing non-winners of 2, other than, I mean, he fits very, very well. You don't know what you're going to get off of this kind of layoff, and I also feel like you see what he did over there, longer distances. There's a part of me that wonders if this is, let's just get a race into him and see if we can stretch him out down the road.
After he finished 6th in that Chester Vase, it was reported that he was going to come over to North America and be trained by Chad Brown. Well, we have not seen him since that race back in May 27. He is now under the tutelage of Bill Mott. We have a positive formulator fact for the great Mott Barn. Past 3 years, older foreign invaders coming to North America, Lasix on, first-time Mott, turf route, off over 180-day layoff, 33%, a $3.02 ROI. This horse did fire fresh to kick off his 3-year-old campaign, and last time out he was in against Wings of Eagles, who came back to win the Epsom Derby and finished 3rd in the Irish Derby. If he's ready off the layoff, and that's an if, he certainly has a nice class advantage over this field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of horse that if you think he's going to take even a mild step forward, getting Lasix and facing lesser company, he's going to be a handful in here. It'll be interesting to see where he's positioned early on. I'm always fearful about these Europeans. We know that they just generally don't break all that sharp, particularly horses that are used to kind of campaigning longer distances.
Number 2 is Arch Daddy, and this could be just another example of those late developing Shug McGahee types. He's 5 years old. This will only be start number 7, but he's won his last 2 starts over this turf course. I really like the turn of foot he showed in the late stages of his most recent start, but that race was at 1 mile and 3/8, and now he's got to cut back to 1 mile in a race that may not have a lot of pace.
Yeah, I think the pace could be kind of the bugaboo for a number of these runners in here. That run 2 starts back when he broke his maiden at 8.5 furlongs, though. It at least gives me a little bit of hope that he'll be able to handle this flat mile distance.
Here's a strong formulator fact for his trainer, Shug McGahee. Over the past 3 years, older last out winning turf routers, first off a layoff of 45 days or greater. When Shug puts him in optional claiming races, he's won 5 of 9, a $3.18 return on investment. Another horse dropping in class is the number 3 Saham, who was stakes placed 2 starts back at the fairgrounds. Last time out, I mean, you could argue he's double dropping here. That was basically a non-winner of 3 other than $75,000 optional claimer, a race won by Grade 1 winner Ring Weekend. He's now dropping into this 2X optional claimer, and in that spot he chased a fast pace. He could be closer to more moderate splits this time around. Just a very logical horse. You know what you're going to get with him. Buyers in the low 90s.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the big thing. Like you say, the horses he faced last time, they're probably just as good, if not better than anything he's going to face here, because we know what Ring Weekend's capable of. Profiteer is a nice runner for Shug as well. From a fig standpoint, he makes a lot of sense. This is kind of what you're looking at, I think, a low 90 to win this race. And I thought he ran fine. The interesting thing is, it just kind of felt like, okay, maybe he couldn't quite get it done there, but now, I don't know, maybe the class relief is necessary, but it's not like he's been getting embarrassed in some of these stakes races. I don't know. I mean, does it feel like they're just kind of giving up on him, saying if somebody takes him, somebody takes him? I don't know. I don't know if I want to look at it as a positive or a negative.
It's an interesting question. If you're looking at it at a negative, then all of a sudden you have a hole on a 2-to-1 morning line favorite who probably is going to take a lot of money. If you're looking at it as like, well, the horse hasn't won since the 2015 Jefferson Cup. They got to get a W into him somehow. He's 6 years old. Maybe the drop in class is legitimate and okay for the horse. The 4 is Creative Courage. We're going to take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. Creative Courage was a pace pressing winner in his most recent start. Timeform US has him on a clear lead. I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 Saham's a little bit closer than the pace projector has him, but Creative Courage in his last couple of races, when he's able to get close to a legitimate pace, not a supersonic one like the 1-2 starts back, he can finish it off.
Yeah, 100%. I think that sort of the tactical ability that he has, that could be a great advantage in this race, maybe makes up or at least narrows that gap necessarily in talent as opposed to some of these other runners, because I don't think just at face value, I don't think he's as talented or as good as some of these other runners, whether it is the European Invader or Saham, who we just talked about. But that tactical advantage, that might be enough to get the job done. He also beat a couple of decent horses in that most recent run. The runner-up came back to earn a 90 in the next start, and the third place finisher an 89.
Up in class for creative courage, but as you see from the pace projector, he might have a little bit of an advantage on the closers in this field. Next up is the number 5, that's Black Sea. First off, the Nick Gonzalez claim. He took this horse from Chad Brown for $50,000 last time out. I'm familiar with Black Sea from when Chad had him in New York, and I always felt that he had just a little bit of hang in him. There's some talent. He was able to put up Beyer speed figures, 94, 94, 97, but you got to time it just right, because this is not the kind of horse that wins by much.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you look at the Beyers, there's no question he's one of the horses to beat. But when you watch him run, that only victory that he had with Chad was by a head, and you just see his overall body of work. I know he's 5 of 19 lifetime, but it just kind of feels like he's waiting for one horse to beat him at some point, or he just doesn't want to go by. I also, me personally anyway, that most recent run, I know he ran fine. There was about 5 horses across the track for second, and I understand maybe it wasn't your standard blanket finish for the win. I just don't ever like to see a big grouping like that. I know it is a turf race, but to me, he's best used underneath.
Murad Khan, second off the layoff for trainer Mary Epler, exits that race that featured Saham, a better class of horses. Perhaps he needed the race in his first start of the form cycle. Just didn't show a lot of early speed in that race. And if he tries that similar running style in here, he could really be behind the 8 ball in terms of race shape.
Yeah, that's the big concern is, I mean, if he runs similar to the way that he did in that North American debut with the lack of pace signed on, where is he going to be coming from? And also, I would have liked to have seen some sort of serious kick. It just kind of felt like he was even down the lane, and I think the only reason that it looks like he made up some ground was that maybe the leaders were kind of coming back to him a little bit.
8-year-old Weekend Minister is the number 7, third start of the form cycle for Weekend Minister, another horse coming out of that Saham race, but he has not shown much now in 2 starts off the form cycle, and you have to wonder, A, maybe he's getting a little bit long in the tooth, or B, maybe just doesn't like Gulfstream.
And the other thing I think to just keep in the back of your mind, I mean, again, look at the overall body of work. 4 for 41 is not a spectacular record, 17 times second or third. But you go back at his 2 most recent races that are really, really strong. A victory at Belmont, going 6 furlongs, and then you go back to June of 2017 at Laurel, a second place finish at 6 furlongs. I wonder at some point, do you just get him back to New York, get him back to those shorter distances, whether it's, you know, at Laurel or it is at Aqueduct, where you can sprint him on the turf?
Weekend Express is going to complete this field. He has not won a race in almost 2 years. Switches to Jose Ortiz here for Tim Hills, who sent out some live horses at the meet. This horse was able to stay close to a moderate pace last time out. I'm sure he could find a decent forward position going into the first turn here. But from a Beyer speed figure standpoint, you talked about how it's going to take something in the 90s to win this race, and this horse is sort of trapped in the mid to high 80s.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he's probably going to get a little overbet in here simply because, and I say overbet, he's not going to be any sort of short number. He's still going to probably be double digits, but I think he's going to be shorter than he should be because you see Jose Ortiz's name. And you're right. I just look at it and say, based on what he's done recently, I don't think he's good enough to win.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Wednesday DRF Bets race of the day. I think we're both fascinated to see what we get from this Frankel colt running in North America for the first time, the number 1 Kunko, but we were swayed perhaps a bit by that time form U.S. pace projector. The 4 Creative Courage, it looks like he can dictate the pace. He's 10-1 on the morning line, and he is in sharp form, and you can argue he has the most upside of any of the horses in this field. He's so lightly raced.
Yeah, he's only gone out 7 times, and I don't know about you. Visually, I don't think he was awesome when he won that most recent start, but I liked how game he was. He was gutsy. He didn't want to lose. He continued on with it. The tactical advantage, you combine that, and also with the idea that Kunko, I don't know what we're going to get off this long layoff first time. I think he may be the one that you want to take long term. I went 4-3-1 in here.
I'm going to go 4-2-3. I want to see what we get from Kunko. If he fires, he's going to be very, very tough. I'm hoping Creative Courage, like you, could maybe steal this race. Arch Daddy's been just too sharp to ignore. I think he's going to come with a strong late run. The question is, does he get enough of a pace setup? Again, if you're playing DRF bets from home, you got to sign up first. But when you do, you get a $150 bonus. DRF.com/joins where you need to go. Please type in the promo code TV150. Approximate post time for the Wednesday DRF Bets Race of the Day is 5:08 Eastern. Good luck.